Good afternoon, students. I am Professor G.T. Patil, Assistant Professor, Department of Processing and Flow Engineering, KKO College of Agriculture Engineering and Technology, Nashik. So today we'll discuss about septic tank. The septic tank. The septic tank is a watertight, single-storied underground tank in which sewage is retained sufficiently long term to permit sedimentation of suspended solids and partial digestion of settled sludge by anaerobic bacterial actions. The, the tank is generally of rectangular shape, having a roof. Normal size it has usually two chambers separated from each other by a baffle wall. The first chamber in which sewage first enters is called as grit or screen chamber, and other is called as anaerobic chamber. Okay, so this is here of septic tanks, manhole provided for clean out. Okay, inside the septic tank, two chambers. First is grit chamber and second is anaerobic chambers. Also, non-profit pipes connect to septic tanks to soil strata for drainage of effluents through drain pipes. So this is the drain fields distribution box also optional provided. Drain field drain pipes also provided for false gases. This is the household waste water from toilets, bathrooms, kitchens. Okay, into the first chamber as a grid chamber, screen chamber, and second is anaerobic chamber. Okay, and then water transfer into drains. Okay, so this is systematic conventional septic tanks in the inlets. Then this is a grid chamber and second is anaerobic chambers. Inlet and outlets also provided. Firstly, sludge means generally settle down at the bottom side. Number of suspended impurities. In the second chamber, this is the anaerobic chamber. There is digestions by number of microorganisms that time reduce the level of sludge and generally clear water is transferred into the drain fields through outlet of septic tank. Okay, also inspections holes, also inspection openings provided at the upper sides, generally 150 diameters holes provided. Okay, for inspection purpose. This is the view cross section of tanks, X hatches, wastewater inlets, scum layers, sludge layer, effluents outlets. Okay, and two chambers. First is grit or screen chamber and second is anaerobic chamber, means both are separate from with the help of baffle wall inside middle of the chamber, means middle of the tank. This is the element of septic tank, inlet, pipes, access ports. This is baffles, scum layer, access ports and outlets, pipes, clarified zone and sludge layer at the bottom side. The inlet pipes and outlet pipes are fitted, but both should be of such designs that while entering or exit of sewage there is very little of disturbances in the anaerobic chamber. In the grit chamber, sand, grit, etc. soluble inorganic matter settle down before sewage enters in anaerobic chamber. In anaerobic chamber, organic solids settle at the bottom of the tank, where anaerobic bacteria act on them and convert complex unstable compounds to simple stable compounds. The nitrogen is converted to ammonia and the mixture becomes alkaline. The colloidal matter in sewage is first flocculated, then liquefied and finally digested. Dissolved organic matter also digested. Due to all this process, there is considerable reduction in the volume of sludge which settles down in the tank and clarified sewage is discharged through outlet of the septic tank. The gases are evolved due to sludge digestion which rise to the surface constantly in the form of bubbles, and these bubbles lift with them the small particles of decomposed sludge and floating scum layer, somewhat black in color, is formed on the surface. The scum contains anaerobic bacteria which attacks the undissolved components of the incoming sewage. Sludge particles which are free from gas bubbles at the surface lose their buoyancy and settle at the bottom of the tank. The first for septic tanks, recommended capacity and sizes of septic tanks. The 0.82 square meter tank area for every 10 persons has been assumed. Depth or sludge accumulation generally 23 cm to 30 cm. For Indian conditions, per capita contribution of dry solids assumed at 70 grams per day. The capacity required for sludge digestion at 0.033 cubic meter per capita at 25 degrees Celsius, and volume of digested sludge assumed as 0.00021 cubic meter per capita per day. Okay. The size of septic tank is governed by the following factors. The first factor is floor area of the grid chamber has to adequate to reduce the velocity of flow and to permit sedimentation. Second, capacity should be adequate to provide a retention period varying from 12 hours to 3 days. 24 hours period is usually considered satisfactory for retention period in septic tanks. Also, depth below partition wall opening should be sufficient to permit sludge accumulation for predetermined period. Minimum area generally 0.07 meter square user in grid chamber and minimum volumetric content of the grid chamber of 0.02 meter cube per user are required. A minimum capacity of combined grid and septic tank chambers of 0.085 meter square per user is required. For larger septic tanks, per capita capacity may be slightly reduced. The septic tank generally have a minimum width of 0.75 meter and minimum depth of generally 1 meter below the water level and minimum liquid capacity of 1 meter cube. The length of the tank shall be 2 to 4 times the width. Okay. The construction features of septic tanks. The septic tank should be constructed of materials which are resistant to corrosion. The tanks are constructed watertight. Construction of septic tanks should be such that direct currents are not established between the inlet and outlet. This is achieved by using submerged pipe, tees or bibaffle walls near the inlet and outlet ends. Scum boards may be provided near the inlet and outlet ends to prevent the escape of the scum. Level of the outlet is about 50 cm lower than that of inlet level. Means septic tank should be properly ventilated by provision of air vent pipes. Also, top cover of septic tank is usually made up of RCC and a manhole is provided in RCC slab for the purpose of inspection and cleaning of the tank. If necessary, cast iron steps may be provided in the tank to facilitate descent in the tank. Sludge is allowed to be accumulated at the bottom of the tank and it is removed at intervals either by manual lever or by pumping. For large septic tanks, sludge removal pipe is provided and it leads the sludge to nearby sump from where it is periodically pumped and removed. Okay. Also, tank should be filled with water at the time of putting into working conditions. Effluent of tank should be properly disposed of. Direct discharge of such effluent into natural water should be discouraged. Septic tanks may be constructed in series to act like two-stage sludge digestion tanks, but single-stage septic tanks are very popular. Septic tank thus combines the functions of sedimentation tank, a sludge digestion tank, and sludge storage tank. Also, the accumulation of sludge at the bottom of tank decreases storing capacity, and hence septic tank should be cleaned every 6 to 12 months. But this period should not preferably exceed 3 years in any case. Okay. Also, water carriage systems. Types: combined sewer system and separate sewer system. Elements of water carriage system: household sanitary fittings, house sewers, street sewers or trunk sewers, sewer, appurtenance, manhole and traps. Household sanitary fittings. Okay, this is the two types of household sanitary fittings: Indian sliding tap and Western common types. Okay, this is in figure shows Western common type sanitary fittings. Sewage. The important term. Sewage is burst water from community containing solid and liquid extra. The average amount of sewage which flows through a sewage system in 24 hours is called the dry weather flow. Composition of sewage generally 0.1% solids and 99.9% water. Okay, these are composition of sewage. The aims of sewage purification to stabilize the organic matter so that it can be disposed of safely, to convert sewage water into an effluent of an acceptable standard of purity which can be disposed of into land, rivers or sea. The strength of sewage. The biochemical oxygen demand, BOD, chemical oxygen demand and suspended solids. These are strength of sewage. So what is biochemical oxygen demand? So it is defined as the amount of oxygen absorbed by sample of sewage during a specified period, generally 5 days at a specified temperature, generally 20 degrees Celsius for aerobic destruction or use of organic matter by living organisms. The generally BOD value range from about 1 milligram per liter for natural waters to about 300 milligram per liter for untreated domestic sewage. If the BOD is 300 milligram per liter and above, sewage is said to be strong, and if it is 100 milligram per liter, it is said to be weak. Okay. Then chemical oxygen demand. This is also one of the strength of sewage. Test measures the oxygen equivalent of the portion of the organic matter in a sample which is susceptible to oxidation by strong chemical oxidizer. And then suspended solids. The amount of suspended solids in domestic sewage may vary from 100 to 500 ppm. If the amount of suspended solid is 100 milligram per liter, that's said to be weak. If the amount is 100 milligram per liter, that's said to be strong. Several areas: screening, removal of grit, plain sedimentation, trickling of filters, activated sludge process, then sea outfall, river outfall, sewage farming, oxidation ponds. Okay, primary treatment, secondary treatment, and other methods. The modern sewage treatments: primary treatment, secondary treatment. Okay, so first sewage into grit, first through screens into great chamber, then primary sedimentation tanks through sludge digester also, then biological treatment, final separation tank, then fluorination, effluent disposal into sludge digester, sludge remove, means generally sludge drying beds, also then produce methane gas. This is the modern sewage treatment. Other methods: sea outfall, river outfall, land treatment, oxidation pond, and oxidation ditches for disposal of sewage. This is sea outfall, river outfall, land treatments, sewage farming, oxidation ponds. Okay. Generally, open shell pool 1 to 1.5 meter depth with an inlet and outlet comprises algae, certain type of bacteria which feed in decaying organic matter and sunlight. Then oxidation ditches. Okay. Thank you, students.